Do you need to reinstall Windows, but you don't want to lose your files? Well, I have a solution for you. With the Windows.old method, you can reinstall Windows and then get the files out of the Windows.old folder that you need. Keep in mind that you will need to reinstall your programs, as restoring program files will cause a problem since programs install things to the registry as well. However, you can get some app data if needed, as that is different than the program files and contains data for a program. In this video, I show using this method with a Windows 8.1 USB on an actual computer that used to have Windows 10, as well as with a Windows 10 ISO I just downloaded on a Windows 10 Insider virtual machine. Those are two examples of what this can be used on. Note that this method works with most versions of Windows. This method is also great if you want to install a different version of Windows, but keep your files. Anyways, let's show the video. As you can see in this part of the video, I show that there are indeed files on this virtual machine in all the folders like documents, downloads, pictures, videos. There's even a folder on the desktop. I open WinVer and show that we are on a Windows 10 Insider build. So saying you want to get off Insider and you want to be back on a stable build of Windows 10. Well, you'll probably end up checking settings and seeing if there's any way to get off of the Insider build. As you can see, it is going to Microsoft's website, which will tell you how to leave the Insider program or to stop receiving Insider builds. And it says if you're on a dev build, you should reinstall Windows 10, because obviously you'll be stuck on that Insider build if you don't. And you can see that they even tell you how to reinstall and everything, but I'm going to make it easy and tell you how to do it in this video with a pretty simple method. So we're going to go to Google and we're going to search for Windows 10 download, go to Microsoft's link, we're going to download the media creation tool, which we are going to use to download the Windows 10 ISO. So pretty much you're going to walk through this tool, and when we get to the screen, what you're going to end up clicking, which you will see in a second, is the create installation media option. You could do upgrade and then do a keep nothing, but I just find it easier to download the Windows 10 ISO. So we're going to uncheck that just because you select the settings you want, you click next, you choose an ISO file, and then you can name it whatever you want and save it anywhere. And then once we do that, it's going to start downloading Windows 10, and then it's going to create the media, and then we should be able to run the ISO. Keep in mind that if you do end up doing the upgrade this PC now option, when it does pop up ready to install, you would need to click change what to keep and then choose nothing. However, the reason why I don't recommend reinstalling that way is it will only keep the users folder in Windows.old and won't keep anything else. So if you wanted program data, for example, you wouldn't have that. And also, I just think it's better just to download the ISO because then you have it. But keep in mind, Windows 10 does update every 6 months, meaning the ISO will end up getting outdated. Anyways, you will see it's asking us to burn the ISO, but we're not going to do that. We are going to mount the ISO by just double clicking on it, and you can see it's mounted. Now, you could run setup.exe straight from there, but again, I don't recommend doing that, and the reason is because it's only going to keep the users folder, and also depending on what version the ISO is, you may have to change what to keep and click nothing. So there's also that too. As you can see, it already says nothing because again, we're on an Insider build and we're installing the stable version of Windows 10. But if you're already on a stable version of 10, it probably won't say nothing. So anyways, we're going to go into the sources folder and we're going to run setup.exe from there, because then it looks like we had just booted off a Windows USB, meaning when we do this it'll be much faster and much easier, and it will keep all of the files in Windows.old and not just the users folder. You'll see we're checking our Windows edition to make sure that we do install the right version, because my VM had Pro. But anyways, we're going to do a custom install, and how you do this is you just click next on the C drive in this case, which is the main Windows install there. It's actually the only install, and it said that it'll place all the folders in Windows.old. You can't go back to that installation, but you can still access the files from it. So now we're going to wait for Windows to install, and after it's done installing, we're going to see what that looks like. Also, while this installs, I am going to say I have done this method many times on many computers, and also other people has done it, and I've not lost anything and no one else has. We are going to get the files out right away, and if you want to be sure that you don't lose anything, you could just drag your user folder out on the desktop, copy the things you need, and then move the user folder back to Windows.old, and then have Windows delete Windows.old, because permissions can be a pain and it sometimes doesn't let you delete the user folder, so I just find it easier to copy the folder back after you got all the important stuff, so then Windows deletes the rest of it. You could always take permissions of the folder if it doesn't let you delete it. I have had a few times where it did let me delete the folder and a few times it didn't, so maybe it just depends. But yeah. Anyways, we're going to go through setup, and then afterwards we are going to also take a look at the Windows.old folder and start copying the files back. Also, if installing Windows 10, I recommend disconnecting from the internet during setup, as it will try and force a Microsoft account on you if you're on Windows 10 Home, and also it will make setup quicker if you don't connect during setup, so yeah. Alright, so we have gotten to a desktop, and we're going to show you that there is a Windows.old folder, and there is all the files in there, not just the users folder. I enabled hidden items, which was view hidden items, to see all the hidden folders such as program data and app data, but you will see we copied the user folder over, and we did see that all the files were in there from the old install, and now we are copying all the files back from that folder to our new Windows installation. As you can see, we're just copying them back, and that's pretty much how you do the Windows.old method. And then I didn't show this part, but afterwards just put the folder back in the Windows.old folder, the users folder. That way you got everything out of it, and Windows will just delete the rest. And also it'll free up some space too, because you don't need all that old app data and stuff if you're not going to use it. So yeah. So now I am showing that all the files were successfully put back on the computer, and I set a wallpaper there. Now something really weird did happen, which I tried opening one of the program shortcuts, and you'll see that it somehow opened. That was not supposed to happen at all. So pretty much, as I typed here, it wasn't supposed to happen. It was opening the program from the old Windows installation, which it will delete the Windows.old folder after 10 days. So do not run those programs because they will get deleted. Plus, since they're not in the registry, they're probably not going to work correctly anyways. So pretty much just don't copy the shortcuts back. And also I recommend deleting Windows.old after getting your data out. You could see it is directing to Windows.old in the target there. I close the programs, and then I delete the shortcuts and empty the recycle bin so that we don't run those and run into issues later. But you'll see everything is indeed back, and there's a picture of our old installation. I opened WinVer to show that we are not on an insider build anymore, and we're on the official release Windows 10 20H2, which is the latest. I check for Windows updates because usually there's updates after you install Windows, and you can see we are not on Insider anymore because I checked that. And pretty much in the about, it even says Windows 10 Pro version 20H2, which did come out a couple days ago. I did record the video the day it came out, but I'm editing it days later. So anyways, we are going to show the Windows.old method now with the Windows USB instead of doing it with the ISO. So you'll see this is an actual system, and I'm showing that there are indeed files on the computer. And I'm going to plug in a USB, but you'll see there is no Windows.old currently. So now I'm going to plug in my good old Ventoy USB, which I did make a video on that, which you can boot off multiple Windows ISOs with it. It's pretty cool. So anyways, we're going to restart it. F12 for the boot menu on this Dell. Every computer is different. You could do UEFI or Legacy. I recommend UEFI, but on this computer, Legacy works better, so I just did Legacy. And now I'm going to boot to my Windows 8.1 ISO. Now this will work with any Windows, like Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, any version of Windows 10. But I just decided to do 8.1 as an example, because what if someone wanted to go to Windows 8.1 from Windows 10? But keep in mind, it has to be a computer that's supported with Windows 8.1. And obviously the super new ones with newer CPUs, it's not going to probably work correctly. It might work, but not correctly. So you'll see there's our Windows drive. I'm going to hit next, and again it tells us it's going to put all the stuff in Windows.old. And then I got a BSOD on my main system while recording. How nice.
What? My computer just blue screened while I was recording this. Excuse me? What? Bruh. The crap? Oh well.
Anyways, now we're gonna let Windows install. Sorry for the shaky camera. I should have used my capture card or have gotten a tripod, but actually the capture card probably would have been a better idea, but I kind of wanted to show the computer. But anyways, now we are installing and I will come back when it's done. Now that Windows is installed, I open the C drive, I see the Windows.old folder, I open it and all the files are there. I open the users folder, I open the user, and then I check to see if the files are there, and they are indeed there. I didn't have that much on that computer, but obviously it'd still be nice to get all the stuff back. I check the properties on it to see how big the file is. It's going to be different depending. I enable hidden items so I could see app data, so if I need to grab any of that I can. I don't recommend grabbing everything, only grab the things you need. I then dragged the user folder out of Windows.old so that way I could get the files easier. So now I just start copying all the files back to the computer, which again I didn't have much. And then when you're done, I recommend dragging it back and then Windows deleting it, but I didn't do that again in this part. But anyways, I'm just dragging all the files back to the computer, and then I believe I set a background, which is the one I had before I did the video. So anyways, yeah, that is the Windows.old method, guys. Thanks for watching the video, and hopefully this helps you all. Have a great day, everyone.